Hey guys, thanks again for watching the stupidest show on the internet about the greatest show on TV, perhaps in history.
And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and also hit the little bell for notifications when we post something new.
And also on Facebook, make sure you go out, comment, like, and share if you like what you're seeing.
And don't forget, Chris Harrison's the greatest.
Enjoy this episode.
Hey guys, welcome back to what would be the stupidest show on the internet about the world's greatest show, The Bachelor.
Or the world's worst.
Or the world's worst.
It was debatable, but I'm on the fence.
And this week was kind of shaky. I'm Gary Pickering, Blair Cato Pickering in Casterline.
I'm Flynn Bowie.
John Stackhouse.
And why don't you introduce
We
our
have a
guest?
very special guest today, Olivia Cooley from the Olivia Cooley Group of Keller Williams Real Estate. Brand new office out there on St. Andrews Road. How's that going for you?
It's great. We're happy to be there.
Wonderful. Fantastic real estate agent here in the Midlands, and if you're looking to buy or sell a house and you want to give Olivia a call, she'll do a great job for you with her team. You're welcome. Also want to introduce, you're not going to see him here, but Cole Connor is behind the camera. Cole is with Apollo's Bow. He's handling all of the media production for us and the filming and helping with the edits, and he's doing a fantastic job. And so Cole, thank you very much. But
Thank you.
Photography, videography. He's also an aspiring rap artist with his song out on Spotify. So
Go click that.
go click on it. So we'll put a link to all that in the Facebook post.
All right, well, let's start talking about pirates and pageant queens.
Pirates and pageant.
So,
queens.
Olivia, since you are the self-proclaimed biggest Bachelor fan, and is that of the Bachelor of Colton?
Not Colton in particular. He's definitely not my favorite Bachelor,
No,
but just Bachelor Nation as a whole.
Okay, I was worried that you liked
You've
Colton.
seen like every episode ever?
Maybe not ever, but definitely in the past 5 years or so.
Wow.
Oh, well,
So-
we got a pro. We have a pro.
Fangirl, official fangirl.
Right, it's my
Yes.
guilty pleasure.
Well, before we start about the show, give us the fantasy game update.
All right, so the fantasy game we're playing, we all picked a slate of bachelorettes. I'm playing for PALS, Palmetto Animal Assisted Life Services. Gary, you're playing
South
for
Carolina Military Family Care Association.
And I'm playing for Serving Connect.
Serving
So the
Connect.
losers have to pay the winners charity.
Right, so somebody's going to get a donation at the end of this, and right now half the field has been eliminated.
I had a nice little lead and I lost.
Yeah, you got clobbered this week.
Week, yeah.
So we're even. We're at 15 bachelorettes left, and each of us has 5. That is on the Facebook page. Go look at the chart and see it, and pay attention to those charities that we're playing for.
All right, Libby. So first impressions of Monday night, other than it was bad.
Well, overall...
Debatable. That's my word. Debatable. I liked it.
Overall, we're working with a really immature group of women.
Yes.
And I've realized this season for the first time ever that they actually hand-pick women that the Bachelor might fall in love with.
Mm-hmm.
So like last year, Ari was I think 36 or 37, so
Right.
all his women were mature with careers, ready to get married and have kids.
Yeah.
Colton's 26 with the maturity of a 16-year-old, so all the women are like, 5'2", 100 pounds, 22 years old, no
Right.
careers.
You've never been kissed?
Right,
Yeah.
so we're dealing
Right.
with a very immature group of women
Except for
here.
the 3, they call them cougars. I didn't know 31-year-old made you a cougar.
I think 27 and up, and you're
but-
classified as a cougar now.
Well, and
That's
on
not all.
Bachelor,
On the show.
right, and on Bachelor, once you hit 26, you age out.
Right,
You age out. I mean, 31 is like 54 on Bachelor.
Yeah.
It's like dog years.
right.
And we know we already have a couple of those in dog years on there. So what was your first impression?
I thought that this week's show was more filler than anything else. I think they're trying to get from the initial show to the destination shows where they go places and
Yeah.
out of the
The good
mansion.
stuff. How about you,
Right.
John?
I'd say the same. The rivalries are still forming a little bit, and also the fact that they didn't have a cocktail party
Yeah. He
leads to
canceled
say
his
there
cocktail
wasn't
party.
really a real
But they had a pool party.
pool party. So.
Well, for me, I was befumbled. Yes, that was the word that Mrs. Alabama used. She didn't say roll tide this weekend,
She
which
did
I thought
not.
was
Shocking.
important. She's
Shocking.
growing up. She
Shocking.
did not say roll tide, and we didn't see a shower scene either, thank God.
Right.
Yeah,
But we
shirtless
did see
enough, though.
shirtless.
Right.
But but I was befumbled by the pirates. I don't quite understand because I did not know that they had pirates in Los Angeles. That surprised me. There must have been a big pirate insurrection in L.A. at some point in,
Right.
1950,
Well,
something
Gary,
like that.
I think that honestly, if we're going to be honest and transparent about this, that they went somewhere that's owned by Disney.
Well, that's true.
There you go.
Because everybody, I think if we dug in deep enough, that we're going to find all the ABC/Disney connections.
Yes.
And they're using this show as a
Essentially.
platform
To build on.
to
But
promote everything else.
It reminded me of bad car rides to Myrtle Beach, where every half a mile there was that Pirates Cove sign.
Right.
And your kids are going, I want to go there, I want to go there, and you remind them of how bad the food is, which apparently was very bad too, because Demi threw her food.
Right.
on the stage.
Yeah,
Like,
what's up with
oh,
that?
okay.
Must have sucked.
And no one said anything.
Does she have parents?
There's a chicken leg going flying.
Well, only a
through.
mom in jail.
And I just needed Jerry Seinfeld to show up like on a show and go, but I don't want to be a a pirate. Remember that show?
Yeah.
So the whole
The puffy
pirate,
shirt.
yeah, the whole pirate thing was bad. But the best line the whole night, which was in the first group date, was Demi when she said, "I couldn't imagine being basically an old hag with a bunch of beautiful young women." I thought that was pretty classic.
That was my
My
clutch my
favorite
pearls
line
moment. That
was also Demi when she said, "I don't want to be a yo ho ho."
oh, yeah.
And was that before or after she spanked him?
Yeah, it was in the pirate days, so
Yeah.
before.
So what did y'all think about that whole first date with a spanking in the hand and?
That was weird.
Yeah, uncomfortable.
Awkward.
Well, as a girl, did you find that to be a sexy move? Because that's what I think she thought it was a sexy move. I
Right.
thought it was kind of
Well, I
disturbing.
think it probably terrified him because you have to remember
Yeah.
that Colton's not very experienced
Right.
here. He doesn't need someone to pull out all the bells and whistles.
Right.
He needs someone who's conservative and gentle, and she's
Yeah.
anything but.
Yeah. Well, which was worse, Demi's laugh, or Colton's childish laugh during the whole thing?
Well, I noticed Colton has a slight little lisp also.
Huh.
But Demi's laugh, I cannot stand.
I
it.
know.
It's like yeah, that's it. It's painful. I thought the whole pirate thing was painful. And I thought the spanking thing was just beyond stupid.
It was bizarre.
But what happened to bars in L.A.? Why aren't we in an antique store?
It's like a pure wine or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we have no bars left in Los Angeles apparently, or maybe there's no bars that will have The Bachelor. Maybe that's what
That-
it is. It destroys their business
Would
once
you?
they're on there.
I mean, would
No.
you have that production?
No,
that
that,
you apply?
well, I don't know,
Not.
maybe I would because I do love The Bachelor.
Yeah.
I did think Chris was back on his game because if you notice when they first got out there with the girls, he said, sometimes love's good, sometimes it's bad. I mean, that was like, dude, where do you come up with this stuff?
So deep.
And it's very deep. And then when he said, well, we'll be seeing you again, like that was real ominous, but that's kind of the whole point of the show,
Right.
is that he'll be seeing them again. So that I was like, dude, Chris, you're back on your game because, last week he sucked. This week he was great. So what about the one-on-one date? With Big Red, the woman who's like 54 years old.
It was a good date, I say. I think she was kind of scared when he said it was a group date. Her eyes
Yeah.
lit up.
Well, she didn't like that.
No, but it gave insight to what he does because I was always curious about his.
Do we
charity.
still know?
We
know
still
he
don't know
has a
what he
charity.
He has no job,
Right.
as far as
Well,
I'm concerned.
if you look back to The Bachelorette when he was on Becca's season, when he brought her home to his hometown, they essentially did the same thing. They played with a bunch of kids from his charity.
I didn't know
So
that.
this is like he's got one thing,
He's
you
got
know,
charity, and he's
that
got
he
no
can
job.
do, and that's
Well, most girls want
It's
to
not very
have a
dynamic.
job. So when he goes on dates in real life, he won't be able to take them to amusement parks because he has no job.
right.
Yeah, that's going to be bad.
True.
Did y'all notice that?
Fangirl. I noticed
She
fangirl
knows.
here bringing.
She's on it.
I mean, bringing
Yeah.
stuff in.
You gotta
bringing
do your
past
research.
episodes, yes.
Does this seem kind of awkward? Which that whole one-on-one date's awkward. Why do we have to go to some theater by yourself and have dinner in this big cavernous
They
building?
don't eat the food.
Right,
they're not
They
allowed to
eat.
eat.
Remember? Yeah. They just,
It's very awkward.
and then walk
Right.
into a concert where they're on a platform and everyone's watching them.
And have you noticed
That's
that
a
it's
limit.
always some country artist no one has ever,
Ever
heard
heard of.
of?
Yeah. Well, I did like her music.
Again,
That was pretty good. You're
Yeah, she
right.
was good.
But she's owned by Disney. I'm sure.
I would think if
Right.
we went deeper digging, if we took a deep dive, we'd find out that she's
So is it
somehow
now
connected.
Right.
hashtag Bachelor Disneygate? Is that
It's-
Maybe that's what.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about the last date, the big group date thing. That's where they had the strongest woman on earth contest or something. And by the way, Terry Cruz's wife looks like she could kick pretty much any woman's ass I've ever seen.
Right.
She's pretty harsh.
scary.
pretty formidable?
Right.
What did y'all think of that? I thought that was kind of just stupid.
Yeah. Well, I know he was in White Chicks, but I wasn't convinced that his wife is actually a chick.
Uh,
know what I mean?
That was very good because yeah, she did look like she could kick most people's ass.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a man, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
My favorite comment Chris had what do you think about Fred being on there? Fred, what the hell is that?
Yeah, again, they're bringing in the stars from their
Right.
stable. They got Fred Willard coming in to sit there.
What
and-
did he even say?
He didn't say anything.
But
other
he's,
than
he's
just
always
there.
there whenever they have a competition.
I think he
Every
just likes looking at the
season.
girls.
No, I didn't know that.
He likes looking at the girls. He's probably hitting on one of them.
Yeah.
My
But wasn't
favorite-
he on Best in Show
He
when he
was.
was the commentator?
He
I think
was.
that's how it all got started.
yes.
'cause he was,
But,
See, again, look at the pop
yeah,
culture
she's
references.
bringing it
we
on.
Got, we got a pro
We
here.
got her back on.
We got a pro.
When Chris said, I mean, this is the best thing he said. He says the crowd is on their feet and they're going wild, and you looked over and the crowd's going. I was like, dude, Chris, man, you blew that one. But that was all right. I'll give him one blow. So let's talk about the date after the competition. Let's talk about the send off. What do y'all think about the girl
Well,
send off?
the one girl that she was actually on my fantasy team. She was one of my lady testants. Got sent home for the
Caitlin?
awkward day. Yeah, Caitlin.
yeah.
And she just gave the worst answer. He said, "So what do you see yourself wanting to do? Hanging out with my friends and having fun."
Right.
Like, who answers that way?
Right.
But the thing that gets me is, as awkward as that moment was, Hannah B was just as awkward, and I think she should have been gone too. So
Yeah.
Were you befumbled by that?
I'm a fumble by it.
Befumbled. The whole conflict between the pageant girls.
I'm on Team Kaylin. by the
We've
way.
been waiting for that. I think, yeah, she's like the little more sane of the
Yeah.
two.
Right.
If
Well,
that's
Hannah
possible.
starts it, and then she goes and cries in a corner because Kaylin retaliates. And it's like, well, if you can't, handle it, don't dish
Well,
it.
the
Then
best
she
part
cries
about
about
it-
getting a rose last. Well, you got a rose.
Well,
Right,
the best part was
right.
she starts it.
She starts it.
She
Right.
goes and starts blabbering her mouth. Let me tell you about her. Let me tell you about her. And then when the North Carolina retaliates at the end of the show, she goes, "I just can't believe she's sitting there talking about me. How dare her sit there and
Right.
talk about me?" She was doing the same
Right.
thing. She's
Right.
trying to play the victim when in fact she was the aggressor.
And very insecure. She's
But-
very
Super.
insecure.
The key word is they both said it. Hannah said it about herself, and then Kaylin said it about Hannah. She is spiraling.
Yes.
Out of control.
Yes.
She cannot handle the competitive nature, especially with someone she's already lost to
And
before.
she's going to lose two again.
She's
Yeah.
going to lose it.
How does that work in the real estate world?
I don't know. You have to ask some of my competitors.
That was good. That was good.
Good answer.
She could have at least come up with, like when they were talking to Caitlin, that's the girl who
Yeah.
got sent out.
Caitlin.
He wanted her to have a bad story. I mean, when she said she had a good
She
life,
didn't have- she
he
didn't
was
have a bad story.
disappointment.
Yeah.
Did you see it? She goes, "I've had a good life," and he's like, you thought the music was gonna go wah wah wah.
Right.
I mean,
But she should have said, I had bad fish at a restaurant last week. It was bad.
Maybe
My stomach was
something.
hurt.
no
He's
personal
like,
tragedy.
why should I make you my wife? And she's like, well, I really want someone I can black out with on a Friday night.
Yeah,
You know, I
that's
mean,
no.
But the
And
thing-
he's beyond that.
right.
But the thing was, it's like we need to have a connection, and I need to have you opening up. You've known her for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
You couldn't have kept her around for at least one more day to see if you could have had a connection. What kind of connection do you have with the other girl? Because my favorite, Katie, and all, we have a lot in common. I wish somebody would have said, name 2 things. Well, we're on The Bachelor.
Right.
We like
I mean,
food.
We
That's
like
what it's-
food, and we're on
Sushi.
Bachelor.
Sushi.
We like
That's like
sushi, and we're on The Bachelor. That's our 2 things in common. We can build a relationship off
By
of
the
that.
ring. By the ring now.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead and get the ring.
Speaking of
Yeah,
connection, one thing that was really interesting is that Hannah G got the first impression rose.
Yep.
And then she did not get a date this week.
That was.
And
Right.
she was insecure about it, and he said, well, it's because I feel so strong in our connection. But did you guys see their kiss? Because
Yeah,
his body
very
language was
awkward.
not
Way awkward.
into it.
No.
I mean, it looked like he was kissing his grandmother. But then she got
Yeah.
the first
And
rose.
you can
And
tell
I-
what he likes by how he kisses him. Like Cassie, I think he likes her.
Right.
I think he likes Katie.
I don't,
He kisses on Katie all 3
does.
times he's
Yeah.
gone. And I hate the scene, but as soon as it opens up, his tongue's coming out.
Right.
It's like, dude, I know you don't know how to do the sex,
But the kiss?
maybe you don't know how to do the kiss either.
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of gross, but I thought it was a lot of 12-year-olds.
You hit the nail on the head with that.
the pool party. Let's talk about the pool party before we finish. I mean, the pool party was painful. I mean,
Well, my question is, how do all these girls look so good with wet hair?
And they kept looking good.
I mean, it's like what?
Like get retouched
I don't.
up?
If I jump in a pool after being on camera, I've got like mascara down to my chin, my hair's all a mess. I mean, how are they
hate
all?
when that
They must
happens.
be
It's
touch-ups.
awful.
I hate when that happens.
They,
Maybe
they
it's
must have to
male
do touch-ups, but the pool parties, they spent all their time, which, by the way, Miss Alabama, have you never watched the show?
Right.
Because the one girl who always goes to the Bachelor and goes, let me tell you about what there's happening in the house, or let me tell
Tattletale.
you on somebody,
Right.
never wins.
Right.
No.
She spiraled out of control. She's never going to get out of that.
Well,
so
we know she's
No,
not the
she's
sharpest
done.
tool in the shed.
No.
You know?
No.
And the monster thing, I mean, she looked really
Right.
weird when she did that.
Anybody
that was
who
not
roars
attractive.
on national television
Yeah.
has a problem.
And she held it for that long.
I know, way
Yeah, they
too
showed it
long.
twice. It's like, oh, you were.
We're
So
seeing
also
the
Hannah,
crazy meter is moving.
Right.
Demi picked up another rival in Courtney
Yes.
when she interrupted her.
What?
Oh,
What?
yeah.
Yeah.
It may blow up.
I don't know why you feel like you have to go tell everybody, hey, you're acting immature. You're on The Bachelor, of course you're acting immature.
Right,
That's
it's
the
a
whole point of
requirement.
being on
You
The
can
Bachelor.
see it.
But
Yeah.
one thing I do like about Demi is that she says it straightforward. I mean, she's crazy.
Right.
And she's definitely a bitch, but
Yeah.
she's like very upfront about
Yeah.
who she
You
is.
know it. and
Yeah.
she
She's like, I'm
owns
going to
it.
be me, and that's it.
And they
So-
call her on it, and she's like, oh, so move on.
Right.
Yeah. So
All right, so what do we think? What do we think about the redhead?
I like Olivia.
I think she's the
Sometimes you have to
Bachelorette.
Right.
She'll be the
She's not
Bachelorette.
pretty enough to be the Bachelorette.
What do you mean by that?
So she's got a lot of filler going on, and there's too much. She's not naturally pretty enough to be the
Right.
Bachelorette.
Wow.
She just seemed likable.
She's very likable.
Yeah.
I think that she's appears to be a very nice
Right.
person.
Yeah.
And I think that Colton really likes her.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I do too.
I think that she is older. I think she's more stable.
Right.
Than certainly more stable than that crazy Demi.
So the final vote out, we got rid of Bree and 2 other women. I don't even know their names.
Well, we got crazy Catherine.
Katie
Yeah,
Catherine.
she's
Lips
not.
are-
But so,
Which
the-
is crazy. How did they get rid of the professional DJ this early on if they want drama in the show?
Right.
I mean, she was like bound to be a villain, and they just
And they just
cut
cut
her.
her.
Cut her.
She never wound up
Right.
being a villain at all. It was just
Right.
like she was. But you notice the people he always voted out are never on TV. Like Bree, This is a
Right.
model who's got 35,000 followers. We never
Right.
saw her.
That was the Australian
Yeah.
speaking
Yeah.
girl.
Never
That
saw
was
her.
fake the accent.
Fake
Went on the show for 15 minutes of fame and wound up with about 16 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah.
So I think that's bad news for Casey. I think it's bad news for Heather because where they've been on the show.
Well, Nina, who is Nina?
Yeah, that's the girl from North
I liked
Carolina.
her,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she's-
yeah.
You
She's
picked her to
gone.
win.
She's
Obviously, you don't know what
from
you're doing
Raleigh.
watching The Bachelor.
Never saw her.
All right, I want to go to our next segment, which is Ain't No Taylor Swift. That's the villain of it. And I've got a brand new villain for you.
A new villain.
Brandon's going to blow your mind. Heather.
Because she's stirring the
Because
pot.
she's stirring the pot.
Oh, my
Stirring the
God.
pot.
She's
Oh,
watched the
in
show
pageant queen.
and
She said
she
you
knows
should
the
go
pageant
tell them.
queens.
Right.
She knows the pageant queens as long because they're her competition.
I know
if
what-
they're fighting with each other, she says, "You need to go say something. You need to go say something."
Right.
And everybody's
She
like,
sits
"Nah."
back.
I know why she's never been kissed. She's too busy focusing on pitting women
Yep.
against each
Ah,
other
right.
to focus on a man.
That's right.
Well, we're going to watch that. We're going to pay attention to
We'll
that
pay
in
attention
upcoming
to that.
episodes.
Last
That's
word.
insightful, Gary.
Anybody,
That's it.
last word. Anybody got a prediction for who wins this thing?
I see Colton walking away alone. I mean, they have shown no footage of him down on one knee at this point.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I bet he doesn't pick anyone.
He
I
jumped
think-
over a fence at some point.
I still
Right,
think
he runs
he
away.
may-
He runs
he
from
runs
The
behind.
reason
away.
I think he's down on one knee is because I think he's picked an African American girl and a white girl as their final two.
Uh-huh.
And if they show the knee, then you would
You
know who
know.
to pick, who the
Oh.
winner is. And that's why I think it's going to come down between Katie and I think it's going to come down to Miss North Carolina.
Kaylin. What about
Kaylin.
Cassie?
I thought Cassie was big in, but she's just not been on the show at all.
Right.
She's hardly been on. So
We're going to follow that
All right,
in
we'll
upcoming
follow- we'll let you know next
episodes.
week. All right, guys.
Thank you for joining us, Olivia. We
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you.
me.
Make sure you
Welcome,
like
everybody.
it, share it, comment. We like your comments.
yeah, please
We need
share it. We'll get everybody out there watching it. Thanks for y'all tuning in again.
Y'all have a great week.